All right. Well, I was just getting ready to leave the office. It's Friday, kind of planning my weekend, what I want to get done on the van. And I just got an amazing call from Mercedes. My van has showed up in Winnipeg. It's on their lot and it's ready for me to pick up. So today is the day we are off to go get the van. The van's actually been in Winnipeg for about a week. Yeah, my dad's already seen it. He stopped by the dealership and took a bunch of photos, but they had to file some paperwork with Mercedes Canada. So I wasn't able to pick up the van until today. So I got the appointment booked. We got to fill out some paperwork and the new van is mine. So I'm pretty excited. I'm gonna go pick up my dad now so I can get a ride to the dealership, sign all the paperwork, and then we will give you a little van tour. All right, well, I really wanted to bring you along and show you more of the behind the scenes of me getting my new van, sort of the pickup, the paperwork, my first time in the van. But honestly, I'm kind of new to this whole filming YouTube thing and I didn't take nearly enough footage. I just forgot. So I figured I'd get the van back to the shop here and just kind of film a quick video about what my first impressions of the 2019 Mercedes Sprinter van are. Yeah, the very first thing that I'm super impressed with is just the overall redesign to the interior, let's call it cockpit area, the passenger seat, driver's seat area. I felt in the older vans from 2018 or 2008 to 2018, they didn't really change very much, and they really had a very kind of commercial contractor work vehicle feel to them. And the first thing I noticed when I got into the 2019 is it actually feels like you would expect it to feel for a Mercedes. It feels like a higher end kind of luxury vehicle. Just the steering wheel, the way it feels and looks, the overall dash, the side panels, just everything about the new Sprinter van just has kind of that upgraded, more high end feel to it. And I think for a lot of people, it's going to be something they're going to really enjoy. Even the key, I mean, it's a small thing, but just the new key. Where is it? I brought it here. Just like, look at that. I don't know what it is about this, but the new key is just, ooh, it's nice. Gotta take that off. It's so annoying. I'll do it later, but yeah, the key. Other things you notice as soon as you get in the van, it's a keyless ignition, so you don't have to actually put the key in and turn it. It's just a matter of having the key in your pocket with push button start. I thought that was pretty cool. The shifter on the vehicle has gone away from kind of the shifter being down low between the middle. It's now an electronic shifter just on the dash. I've never had a vehicle that has that. It's honestly kind of weird. I'm really used to kind of the mechanical tactile feel. So not sure if I like that or not, but it's something that's different. The screen is totally redone. The whole dash is totally different than the old Sprinter van. It's got a nice big, I think I went with the 10.5-inch screen. The screen's huge. It's got everything that used to be kind of crammed into the above steering wheel dash little display on the older vans. You can now get it on the much larger screen. On the short drive that I took over here, I was playing around with some of the lane assist and the adaptive cruise control where you set it to the car in front of you and it just kind of follows along. I think that was an add-on that I got, but when you're doing really long road trips, or even if you're just stuck in sort of rush hour freeway traffic, it's nice to be able to set the cruise control and have it just kind of adjust the speed for you. So, I mean, a lot of new cars have that. It's not a Sprinter specific thing, but it is new for the 2019 model. And yeah, for me, I think it's just really nice to have all these features that other high-end cars have now available in the Sprinter van. A few of the other things I noticed when doing a quick walk around the outside, obviously the front of these vehicles has changed drastically. That's kind of the main change, is the front profile of the van. At first, when it was first announced, I didn't like it at all, but as I've seen more and more of them, it's starting to grow on me, and I do think, I think as I spend more and more time with this van, it's going to really grow on me. One thing I did notice under the hood is the hood latch system, like the way when you lift the hood, the way it stays up, they've gone back to kind of an old style where it's not, you have to like flick it and get it in place, and it was actually better on the older model. I'm not sure why they did it this way, but I mean, that's one negative. One thing I do like though is they've taken the DEF compartment. I'll put a thing in here. You can see that they've kind of moved it out of the main engine compartment. On the old vans, it was kind of stuffed in the existing engine compartment, and it was easy to overflow and spill. Like, here's my current DEF situation. It's a bit of a disaster. I need to clean it out. So I'm hoping with the redesign, that's going to make things a lot better. And then the other thing that I noticed right away is if you had one of the older generation Sprinter vans with a backup camera, they're absolutely terrible. It was more or less a hitch camera. It didn't help with backing up at all because it pointed pretty much straight down, and you couldn't adjust it at all. With the new factory backup camera, it shoots out far enough that you could actually use it as a real backup camera. And in these big vans, it's almost critical to have, in my opinion. Most people that have the 2008 to 18 models end up installing a backup camera so they can safely navigate around. I did upgrade to I got all the bells and whistles, all the when a car is passing me and I go to change lanes, it blinks at me, and I've got the lane assist and the park assist and all of that stuff. And I think all of those options are going to be great. I haven't really driven the vehicle around enough yet to kind of see the total value and everything, but just the short drive I did from the dealership to the shop, I'm loving the van. I thought it might be a good idea to go over because I was lucky enough to order a brand new vehicle, I was able to customize the van exactly how I wanted. And I think there's some options that some people might not be aware of when doing their van. I'm actually going to grab the option sheet and see some of the ones that I think you should know about that you might not be aware about. All right, as I was running away, my microphone hooked the light, tipped the light over, and I lost a piece of the light. So I gotta find that later, but I think we're still good to continue here. So look at this. Those are blank sheets. This is 9 pages of options on the Mercedes Sprinter van. Now some of them are like not really options. They're just, you have to get them with the vehicle, but option number 1 is factory swivel seats. Having the factory swivel seats is a huge bonus in my mind, because when you get them factory from the dealership, they actually make the seat boxes not quite as high. They're shorter. And so when you add a swivel seat as a aftermarket piece, you have the standard height swivel seat or a seat box, and it actually adds 1.5 inches. So if you're a shorter person like myself, you really notice when you're sitting in the chair that has aftermarket swivel seats, it feels like your feet barely touch the ground. And if you lower the seat all the way down and then you go to swivel it, there's a chance you can break off the plastic pieces. So it's kind of a nice touch to get the factory swivel seats that have the shorter seat boxes and are kind of made and designed for that. So I went ahead and got the factory swivel seats. Another thing on the new van that is sort of not a big upgrade, but a nice thing is, if you remember on the older generation vans, the rear doors, they would pivot all the way around. I think they called them 180 degree pivot or something like that. But they had these funny hinges that actually protruded into the van, and they were kind of the latch that prevented it from swinging all the way all the time. So it would swing kind of to halfway, you have to undo the black latch, and then it would open all the way. Now from the factory, they only open to here, and it's actually an add-on to get the hinge that swivels all the way around. Let's see if I can find the name of that add-on here. Yeah, it's W54, and it's rear door opening to sidewall option. So if you want to be able to open your doors all the way around, you have to make sure you add on that option to your build. Another nice one to have is the factory, the half sliding door stop. On my old van, I had installed a aftermarket piece that allows you to kind of open the door either halfway or all the way. I do find when you're living out of the van, most of the time I just want the door halfway open because, you know, it is your kind of home and you don't want the door open all the way, but you want the fresh air. So having the factory option to open it just halfway or all the way, it just feels a little more integrated and it's a nice little add-on. Another option that I got that most people get these days, but I didn't know about it on my first van, and my first van wasn't a custom order, is getting the roof rails from the factory. What this allows you to do is these roof rails make it super easy to mount any solar system, you know, rooftop cargo box like a Thule, or if you're going to do a roof rack. Most of them are designed so they mount directly into these roof rail mounting systems. And on my old van, because I didn't have them and I didn't know about them, I just actually drilled holes straight through the top of the van and mounted it that way. I mean, it worked out perfectly fine, and because I did truck bed liner on the roof of the van and all the proper sealant, I've never had any issues. But if you get the roof rails from the factory, you don't actually need to drill any holes through the roof to mount your roof mounting system, other than, you know, running your solar wires and stuff like that. So I highly recommend getting from the factory the roof rails. Another factory option that I did get is I got the factory S-bar heater. I had it on my old van. I loved it. So I got it on this one. And basically what it does is it allows you to turn the S-bar on in the van from the factory, and it circulates the engine coolant through an S-bar, and it warms the engine. So in really cold climates, you never really have any issues with the vehicle starting because it's too cold. Unfortunately, you can't use this heater for any of your build in the back, any of your sort of your home housing situation, because there's a bunch of environmental sort of restrictions on it that Mercedes has to put in from the factory. So yeah, those are kind of my first impressions on the 2019 Sprinter van. This isn't, like I said, a formal review. It's not, you know, everything about it. It's just kind of showing you the things that I noticed right off the hop that I really like, you know, a couple things that I don't really like, and a few things I'm not sure of. I'm super excited to get started on this build and kind of document the whole thing. I'm pretty much ready to go. I got the shop built. I got, you know, the van here now. I got a workstation built. I'm really just waiting on one sort of key part of the build that I need in order to start. And once I get that, I'll be able to sort of hit the ground running. So I'm super excited to get going and kind of share the progress with you guys. So if you've been enjoying these videos, do me a favor and, you know, click the subscribe button right here. And if you have any questions about the 2019 van or any van build guide questions in general, let me know in the comments, and we'll see you in the next video.